everybody. Welcome to the Hallmark podcast. And we're really excited today. We have the star of the new Believe in Christmas movie coming out. We have Meghan Ory here. And Meghan, thank you so much for coming to talk with us.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. So this is your first time on the podcast. We'll give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got started acting.
So my name is Meghan Ory. I have been acting since I was wee. I started doing theater when I was 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Doing film. I did my first movie when I was 16, and I'm not 16 anymore. I'm not going to tell you how old I am now.
So you're there in Vancouver?
No, I actually live on the East Coast now. I was in Vancouver. I'm from Victoria originally, and which is actually where we shot the hit Hallmark show Chesapeake Shores, if anybody likes that show of your listeners. So we shot that on Vancouver Island, which is where I'm from, but we filmed in an area called Parksville, which is up island. So it's about 2 hours away from Victoria, which is where I grew up. So it was really nice to get to go home and see my friends and everything. But I live on the East Coast now. So
okay, nice. Well, I was really excited when you agreed to the interview because I was a big Once Upon a Time fan.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to ask you about that whole experience and what that was like.
Lots of good Once Upon a Time stories. How long do you have?
Yeah. I mean, just the whole production value to that show must have been very cool to be a part of.
It was very cool. And you know what's funny is I say this all the time, that when I read the pilot script, because I originally auditioned for Snow White.
Oh, you did?
Read it, and I was like, they definitely have already cast this. It's going to be a big name. And I don't care. I'm still going out for it. I just want to be a part of the show in any way possible. And if you remember Red Riding Hood, what Ruby was, I was only in one scene, I think, in the pilot. So I only had a couple of lines, but I just knew that this show was going to be special, and I just wanted to be a part of it in any way possible. And I was right. It was a pretty special show. It was, the costumes alone, like you would go into the costume room, and Eduardo was our costume designer, who's from the States. I can't remember his last name actually, but he's just this brilliant dressmaker. And there were just the gowns, the racks that you would see of all of the costumes. It was just so fun to kind of walk around in there. It was very fantastic.
I would put his bell dress that they did for that over the one from the movie.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's better.
A lot of those. And I mean, that was, it was, I will say, very long to get ready in the morning. So our days were really long. We'd have 8 to 12 days sometimes, because it would take, half an hour to get into your corset, and because they were real corsets that were made by a local company in Vancouver with, somebody's behind you pulling on your back and tightening the ropes, and you can't breathe, and
gives your posture.
Yeah, you had really good posture, but hair and makeup took 2 hours, because I had 3 sets of hair on my head to play Red Riding Hood.
Oh, really?
Like fake hair. Not my own.
Right.
Wow,
that's so cool. Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, it must have been exciting to see how it kind of played out and how they combined all these different elements together and everything.
Yeah, it really was to sort of watch just the progression of what Adam and Eddie, the creators of the show, sort of where they took the story. And it was always fun to sort of see. There's a call sheet that they'll send out the night before where it tells you sort of what time everybody has to come to work the next day. And I always laughed because on some days the call sheet would say sleepy, dopey, sneezy, Snow White, Cinderella. It was so funny to just see our job, and this is what we're doing today. It was pretty fun.
It's honestly what I wish Disney's has done all these live action remakes of and I just really, for the most part, don't enjoy them. They're not for me.
Really?
No. And I wish that they took the same spirit of Once Upon a Time into the remakes and doing something like we're reworking it. We're adding our own flair. This is different. Where instead of just here's what you like in live action, which I'm like, why? I like animation. Why would I want that? And And so I don't know. I just feel like it's the like fan fiction that I think is fun versus let's just copy what we already did.
Totally,
You
totally. I
know?
haven't really seen many of the live action movies, probably because I feel like I've seen them on Once Upon a Time already.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a different Snow White or a different Prince Charming, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those characters are that to me now. But it's a very good point that you raised. They
Yeah.
should do that.
Well, and it's fun too because they got to bring in characters like Red Riding Hood and Rumpelstiltskin, and mix that all in. That all made it more fun as well. Hmm.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
the Grimm's fairy tales mashup with then with the Disney characters, because I believe Disney took over Star Wars part like halfway through the run of Once Upon a Time. So then all of a sudden they had access to all the Star Wars characters and all like a whole different sort of archive of characters that they were able to sort of bring into the world. So the world just
Mm.
got bigger and bigger and bigger, which was so cool. It's too bad the show,
Yeah.
because I think it could have gone forever.
I know. It could have been fun.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
So, how did the whole Chesapeake Shores thing? How did that all evolve? What was the like audition process like, and that whole thing getting started?
Chesapeake Shores, I actually did I had a meeting for Chesapeake Shores randomly. I was in town because I had just done the movie Dashing Through the Snow with Andrew Walker.
Uh-huh.
And we had to come back to do reshoots on it. So I wasn't even supposed to be in Vancouver, and I was staying at this hotel, and our executive producer was staying there as well. And I went in and had a meeting with him and the director, and just I fell in love with the team and just the story and the idea of doing like a parenthood-esque type show, and and having an ensemble cast, because having come off of Once Upon a Time and
Yeah.
having that big ensemble, I went on to a show. It was like a procedural in the States afterwards, and it was just two of us kind of running around doing stuff. And I really missed that aspect of having like a big group around.
Was it always planned on being for Hallmark, or did they pitch it to Hallmark?
Yeah, no, it was always going to
Okay.
be Hallmark. I think they really loved Cheryl Wood's the books, and then Dan Paulson, our executive producer, has another show of Cheryl Wood's, which is on Netflix now, called Sweet Magnolias. She's such a prolific, amazing.
Right. Yeah.
If you haven't read her books, like they're so good. And yeah, it was what I wanted to do next, and it was a good fit. And
Do you know, was it always their plan to change Trace from the books? Or was that something evolved when they had Jesse?
I think that Jesse was the first one on board. So they had cast Jesse first, and they had a meeting with him and sort of told him the idea for the show, and he got really excited about it. So he came on board. I'm not sure if they were going to expand or change the role before he came on board, but he was on so early that I don't know if they even knew that.
Yeah. So,
but that was always going to be kind of like the driving force of the show, is that relationship and everything.
So what was it like to be like top of the call sheet for a show like that? and to kind of be the lead character.
It was fun. It was fun. And like I say, it's because the show was an ensemble show. It wasn't just me, and it wasn't just Jesse and I. And I think that the team did a great job, like expanding the world of that show as well. And everyone fell in love with the family and their relationships and their stories and all of, like, the brothers and sisters and the extended family. And I think that's why people loved it so much.
Did you feel like it was natural to create those family vibes, or was that something that you had to kind of like work together to build that chemistry?
I think a few of us knew each other, of the siblings. We knew each other from before. I'd known Amelia Ulrip for years and years, and Brendan Penny and a few other people. And so we kind of had a little bit of that shorthand, but we kind of fell into it quite easily. And I think that I'm an older sister in my life. And so I fell into the like bossy older sister role very easily. And I just kind of took that over on set and just would tell all of my little siblings what to do, even Brendan, who's actually older than me. And so I think I annoyed them all to no end, but I think it helped sort of our chemistry and it was such a good cast. And, we still keep in touch to some degree, some of us, and it was a fun time.
So do you have a season or a character arc or something that was your favorite?
From Chesapeake? I really loved the first season. I loved Abby's journey of going from the city and change, like the awkwardness of like moving back to your parents' house and, choosing her kids over work and like focusing more on family. Cause I just feel like that's such a difficult choice to make in life.
Yeah.
Knowing what to do, knowing if that's the right thing to do. And I wasn't a mom when I started on the show, and I am a mom now. And, so I feel like looking back, I kind of appreciate her journey even more now. And getting to see that on television and watch a woman like go through that and experience all the things that she did and make those choices. I have a lot of respect for that character in the world that Cheryl created.
Yeah. Well, and it must have been just exciting, like the first season, just like the energy of that.
Yeah, it's fun kind of when you're in a little box and no one's seen the show yet, and you just have each other, and you're kind of, everyone's sort of like learning who their characters are and growing and, getting to know each other and everything. And so it is definitely fun, the first season.
And this was all filmed in Vancouver Island?
It was all filmed in Vancouver Island, Parksville, Qualicum Beach.
So that must have been nice.
Yeah. It was always our favorite. Everybody across the board, I think I can speak for everyone, that whenever we did a scene by the fire pit, even late nights,
that's cozy.
Like, it was very easy to act because everyone was like, kind of tired, eating s'mores. So we had like a bit of a sugar high. And so it was just a very easy, like playful atmosphere. So they were always really fun, playful, joyful scenes to film. And it was so beautiful. I mean, the island, and oh my gosh, like some of the locations we got to film were just so incredible.
Yeah. And those houses.
Oh, I know.
Gorgeous.
Amazing. Nice to wake up to that view every day.
Yeah. It wouldn't be too shabby. And it's got to be nice having Treat Williams and Barbara Niven being your parents. I mean, dream team.
They were both very, very good friends of mine. And we were all pretty sad when Treat passed. And
yeah. Definitely. We'd like to take a second to thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Mistletoe at Jameson Ranch, the new clean, uplifting romance and entry in the Teacher Project by writer Anna Grace. Award-winning author Anna Grace is back with another installment in her heartwarming series, The Teacher Project. 5 teachers are recruited to revive a high school in the tiny cantankerous town of Pronghorn, Oregon, shaking up the community and creating friendships to last a lifetime. In Mistletoe at Jameson Ranch, Nashville lawyer Harlow Jameson returns to Pronghorn to find big changes to her little town and new faces, including Vander Torn, a gorgeous teacher and cowboy in training. Harlow is roped into helping with the holiday pageant, and Vander's showing her a whole new side of Pronghorn and herself. But is a picture-perfect Christmas season enough to bridge the gap between the city girl and her sweet cowboy? Mistletoe at Jameson Ranch has been called the perfect Christmas read by early reviewers and is available at all the major retailers and online. You can use the affiliate link below. That's Mistletoe at Jameson Ranch by Anna Grace. We know you'll love it. Last year, you had the movie The Secret Gift of Christmas.
Mhm.
And I have a theory about this movie.
Oh,
I
tell
feel
me.
like, yes, I feel like she was actually an elf. Like
Ooh.
all of her energy and the way she dressed and the way she everything.
Mhm.
And I was like,
You're
this
very
makes more
close.
sense.
You're very close. You're
I
very
knew it.
close. Do you know what actually my inspiration and I feel for that character was? And I feel like at this moment, this is a good time to reveal this. In this moment, I've never
Yes.
said this out loud before. Is my inspiration for that character was Glinda from Wicked.
See,
Mhm.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fairy, elf. same
Yeah.
thing.
It's in the magic
Elf would have made more
community.
sense because it's Christmas, but
Yeah, but I was like, just because she seemed so like separate from everything in reality, like she just seemed
Yes.
like a magical creature, and I'm like, I bet in some draft of this she is an elf or she is an elf. It's just like,
that's a good guess. That would be a good movie, actually.
I think so. It would have improved.
That would have been a good twist at the
Yeah.
end, or under the Christmas tree. Actually, I've got to go back to the
surprise!
North Pole.
Well, so you have Believe in Christmas coming out. So this is very exciting. You get to be with your husband in the movie. So
Mhm.
that's cool. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about the movie?
So, Believe in Christmas is based off a book called Christmas Land. And it is about a woman named Beatrice who is a bit of a Grinch around Christmas. She's from grew up in foster care, so she never really got to experience the like beautiful, fun, family-filled Christmases that maybe her best friend Amelia does. And so she's a little bit, reluctant to experience Christmas, and her best friend is very, very into Christmas, and she wins tickets to a place called Christmas Land, which is a place that is a magical world where Christmas is brought to life as though it were a Christmas movie. So the things that you see in Christmas movies exist in real life in Christmas Land. And Beatrice is dragged kicking and screaming, but she loves her best friend, so she goes and has to experience all of the joyful Christmas things that she's never gotten to experience before. And he's a handsome guy in the process.
Yeah, so there's a handsome man at Christmas Land.
Yes, yeah.
Nice. That's good. So how did this all come about as far as both of you being in the movie and everything? How did that all happen?
Well, so John and I met on a Hallmark movie called Merlin's Apprentice that came out probably 20 years ago. I think it was like a Hallmark Hall of Fame. It wasn't when Hallmark was in a different incarnation than what it is now.
Yeah.
And Sam Neill played Merlin and John played Merlin's Apprentice.
Yeah, people forget that the Hallmark went through this like really weird because there was a time when Star Trek was on Hallmark.
Really?
So there was, yes. And so there was this like sci-fi fantasy weird little bubble from like 2005 to 2008. Like it's this little...
That is what we shot it in 2005.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. I didn't know that, but that would be why we did that movie, because it was very fancy. I played a knight, and John was doing magic, and it's Merlin's Apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
And on that, and since then, both of our individual fans have been sort of asking us whenever we do interviews or anything. People are like, "When are you going to do a movie together? When are you going to do a movie together?" So we wanted to do another Christmas movie after we had so much fun, or I had so much fun with our director, Christy, on The Secret Gifts of Christmas. And so I was like, do you want to do a Christmas movie with me? So I kind of talked him into it because he's so busy on his show and is always like just wants to, spend time with the kids and relax during his hiatus. And so I talked him into doing it. So
Yeah.
that's how it came about.
So then you
Wife
pitched
pressure.
Then did you pitch it to like Christy and Hallmark, or how did was
I sort of pitched the idea first, and I was like, do you want us to do, like, would you be interested in doing a movie with us together if I can talk him into doing it? And they said 100%. They were very excited because
Yeah.
they love John there too. And he hasn't had a chance to do a movie because he's been so busy on Hudson and Rex for the last few years. So I was like, I can't promise anything, but I feel like I know how to push his buttons.
Yeah. If anybody can convince.
Yeah. And actually his sort of requirement was that he wanted to find a script that was really unique. And then Christy found this book by Anne Marie, Christmas Land, and he loved it. And so that was, as soon as he read the script, he was like, yes, this sounds great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Were you at all worried that your chemistry, like whether it would
100%.
translate to screen?
I'm still worried. I haven't seen it yet. So you'll have to tell me after. You have to send everyone send me a message and tell me if we have chemistry.
Yeah.
We did laugh a lot, and we joke because we have 3 children who are under 7. So we don't really see each other a lot, and we had to go work together to be able to get to hang out. We don't have
sometimes I kind of joke that sometimes the like comfort level, I think, with a couple in real life will sometimes just translate a little bit apathetic on the screen.
Right.
Like that spark, isn't quite there.
Yeah.
And so I say that like the lower the chemistry, probably the more stable and healthy the relationship in real life is. So maybe look at that as
we'll see. I don't know. Now I don't know. Do we have chemistry? I don't know. Do I want us to have chemistry? Yeah, I don't know. It was fun because we just got to see each other again, and a conversation that wasn't about the
kids,
diapers, and
because you had 2 kids really close together, right? Pretty close.
I did. I was pregnant all of Chesapeake Shores. Actually, I was pregnant the other day. It was quite there was 11 babies born on that show in the 7 that we did it.
That's a lot.
So many women, and we were all like of childbearing age. So yeah.
Was that hard though? You feeling sick and having to work and
it was awful. It was awful. I had hyperemesis with my last one, which is what Meghan Markle, or not Meghan Markle, the other princess.
Oh, Kate.
Yeah, Kate Middleton. She had it as well with all of her kids, and it's basically just like throw up constantly, like every 2 minutes. So I would be on set with a barf bucket and sort of say a lot. They said cut, I'd throw up, and I feel really bad for the crew and my fellow actors because it's probably really gross.
Oh man, that would be really hard. Yeah. But so for Believe in Christmas, like it must have been amazing to see this like Christmas land come to fruition.
Christmas Land was pretty spectacular. And so we filmed it in Nova Scotia in Canada. Where are you in the country?
I'm in Utah, Salt Lake.
You're in Utah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
My best friend's husband is from Utah. So we're in Nova Scotia in the east coast of Canada, and there's this little town on the water called Mahone Bay, and it's the most picturesque place. It doesn't look real, and this is where we turned this into Christmas Land, and it's it's like right on the water in this kind of little I don't even know what you would call there's like a little bay, and there's 3 churches in a row that kind of look out on to the water, and all the houses are multicolored, and it's just so beautiful and quaint, and just it looks like if you were to go to a town called Christmas Land, this is what it would be. And this town also has a huge Christmas festival like over the holidays that is real, and they have all these decorations. And so the town was so excited that we were going to film this here. So they gave us a bunch of decorations, and everybody decorated their stores for us. And
Oh, that's
they
nice.
were all so excited, and it just looks so beautiful. And yeah, so it was a pretty magical little spot to film.
What was it in the summer that it was shot?
We shot it in May, so
Okay.
it wasn't hot yet, so we didn't have like the normal Christmas movie, like you're sweating
Right.
under all your parkas and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so the weather was not too bad, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful town, and I think it looks really gorgeous on camera, and
Oh, that's fun.
hopefully they'll all be excited and
Do they
happy.
have you like doing a bunch of like Christmas activities?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
as part of
yeah,
Christmas Land.
it's
What
part
are
of
some of the
Christmas.
things that you do?
Have you ever seen like Hallmark Christmas movie bingo?
Okay, yeah.
Where
Hmm.
it's like there's like certain things that you want to have happen in like a Christmas movie. So they do
Uh-huh.
those things. So they drink hot chocolate, or they build a snowman, or uh go for a sleigh ride, or go ice skating, and those types of things. It just, I mean, really they're just winter Christmas activities.
Right.
We do all of those things, and there's a really nice sort of balance between Beatrice, who's curmudgeon Grinch type character, and then Lindura, who plays Amelia, the best friend, who's very into Christmas, very positive and optimistic, and like so into all of the Christmas activities. Um, so I think there's a really nice balance between those two characters, and they're really fun together.
Nice. So
Mhm.
what would be your pitch to the Hallmarkies listening? Tune in, they'll love this movie. They should check it out.
Well, I think the Hallmarkies should tune in to watch Believe in Christmas, because if you want to believe in Christmas, you need to watch the movie.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a really, really fun, sweet movie that's a little bit different. Like it just, if you like the Christmas movies, it sort of brings you into the world of the Christmas movie in sort of a different way that you haven't done before. You still get all of the same like wonderful magic, but just kind of from a different perspective, which is
Yeah.
cool. That's what I like.
That's very, very good.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Have some rapid fire Christmas get to know you questions that we like to end the podcast with. So first one, what is your favorite holiday drink?
Oh, mulled wine,
Okay, good. What's your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
gingerbread.
Good. What's your favorite Christmas song or carol?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Anything by Mariah Carey.
Yeah, good. Queen of
Mariah Carey
Christmas.
Christmas. That's my jam.
What's your favorite classic Christmas movie?
Classic Christmas movie. Love Actually, but does that count? No, probably Home Alone. Love Actually.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
mean,
old.
I'm not kidding you. I would say at least 80% of people say Home Alone. It is by far
I
the most popular
watched
answer.
it so many times. It's like ridiculous. It's like the movie that I put on when I'm wrapping my presents. Because
Yeah.
it's like
I love it, so I get it.
good. It's such a good
so
movie.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which do you like better, Scrooge or the Grinch?
The Grinch.
Okay. Which do you like better, clear lights or colored?
Oh, also hard. I like clear, but now that I have kids, we always have colored because they like have rainbows.
Okay, good. Would you rather be in a snowball fight or build a snowman?
Build a snowman.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a good gift wrapper?
Terrible. Like the
Terrible.
worst. Like the worst. You do not want a present from me. It's covered in tape.
All right, last question. Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
More than one.
More than one.
A Star Wars one, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you're up there in Canada, you need all those sweaters.
We need so many sweaters here. It's not a joke. There's a lot of sweaters that you need.
Yeah. Very good. You did it. You answered all the questions.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for coming to talk with us. We really appreciate it. And if people want to follow you on social, stuff like that, how do they do that?
So I only have Instagram. I'm official Meghan Ory, and I think there's a lot of fake accounts out there. So that's the only one that I have. And then John is, hang on, I can never remember. Should I know what his social media handle is? He's Johnny Reardon.
Okay, good.
Johnny_Reardon. There's a lot of fake Johns out there also.
Okay, we'll make sure we have the correct ones in the description so people can follow you. And thanks so much for
doing a lot
of
behind the scenes, because we also, our production company helped produce this movie as well. So we did a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we're going to be rolling out on social media over the next few weeks. So it'll be hopefully get people excited.
Well, very good. Well, hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
You too. I hope you enjoy the movie.
Yeah. So we'd like to thank Meghan for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to talk with her. Hope you all enjoyed it, and let us know what you think about all the different things we talked about in the comment section or on Twitter. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. It really, really helps us so much be able to find the podcast if we have those reviews. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. Most of our viewers are not subscribers. So if you're in that camp, please subscribe. And we have our patron group, which is a ton of fun. And we've had all kinds of guests come on for our monthly patron activities, including people like Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner. We've had James Denton. We've had tons of fun people. So please take a look at the Patreon. I think you'll find it well worth your investment. And then we have the merch store, where we have new holiday movie inspired designs, including Home Alone, Die Hard, A Christmas Story, A Christmas Carol, all that. So please take a look at that. We would sure appreciate it. And thanks again to Meghan, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.